Hello and welcome back to the Common Colt Podcast. The Colts Podcast is real takes and no clickbait. I'm Josh Hudgens, joined by Dan Hertzler. Dan, we're riding a high.
Yeah, man, we just got off or just heard the presser here from Ballard and Shane Steichen. And, I know you got some thoughts here, some things processing now as we're a little bit removed from this pick. What's your feeling now? What do you think about what Ballard had to say?
Well, I'm liking this pick a little bit more. As I was a little anxiously excited after the draft, but now as I've settled in and the emotions have kind of subdued,
Yeah.
Ballard said some interesting stuff. First of all, he pointed out that they kind of had their eye on Richardson for the last month. Like they kind of knew he was going to be the guy. Now, obviously, GMs kind of always say stuff like that. They never say the guy they drafted isn't their guy, but it could be why the Colts didn't trade up in the draft they kind of had a good assumption that he was going to be there. The Colts weren't eager to compare him to any players, which I don't think you really can. I don't think there's been a guy like Anthony Richardson that's come out in the draft. This guy, he's kind of a unique breed.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that's going to be the most interesting because the NFL is definitely changing, and the quarterback position, from Patrick Mahomes to Lamar Jackson to Josh Allen, we're seeing just some things that we just haven't seen, ever in the NFL as far as what they can do with mobility and the throws they can make and all sorts of stuff. And now, from just a tool aspect, okay, just the amount of tools that he has, Anthony Richardson fits into those guys. Now, again, don't hear me say that he's going to be that good, but he has the tools to be that good. And as a 21-year-old quarterback, there's a lot that you can build on, a lot you can start developing. And I think Coach Steichen was the one that was trying to say that the most when he's saying, hey, look, he is who he is, and we can't compare him to anyone else. And we're going to work with what he got, and we're excited for the potential in front of him.
Well, to your point, and really, I mean, we named this video, hey, this pick is an excellent pick kind of thing. And here, really, to your point, the NFL has changed. And a lot of fans, I think, do get caught up in the early 2000s or mid 2000s or beforehand, where drop back passers were the thing, and dual threat quarterbacks were kind of a gimmick. It's true. I mean, if you put Michael Vick in 2023, he's going to be better than he was in his career. And he was a good quarterback, but he's going to be better because offenses are set up differently and defenses play differently. The rules have changed. All sorts of things have changed to help the quarterback. And these new age head coaches, offensive coordinators, aren't stuck in the old ways. I think this is part of the reason why it's a perfect fit. Honestly, as Colts fans, we're used to the pocket passer. We had Manning. Yeah. We had Luck, who was a bit of a hybrid, but you get Phillip Rivers. You get obviously Matt Ryan. We've seen that these kind of, especially with Rivers and Ryan. I know they're in the back nine, but that's Stone Age. I mean, that's like using a flip phone in 2020, 2033. You got to get an iPhone. It is what it is, kind of thing. So that's one of the reasons why I think it's a good pick. And look, to tell the truth, this guy's young. He's not even 21 yet. He's turning 21 in May. He is a blank slate. He's rough around the edges, but with Shane Steichen, who's worked with so many quarterbacks, he's going to help refine him. He's not going to be Superman. Ballard said he's not going to be Superman week one. Don't expect that. Yeah. They're going to build this guy up, which is good. This guy does not have a lot of sloppy years worth of mechanics. He's only 20 years old again. So I think these are all good reasons why we took a guy who could be in a draft full of question marks, the best player in the draft if we handle this right.
Yeah, I just find this all fascinating. Of course, Ballard's, Steichen going to say, oh, we've had this guy, eyed up for a month. And, we saw him back in August. We knew that, all this kind of stuff. And yeah. But I find it really interesting, as we're recording this, it's, I think, pick 23 right now going on, and Will Levis hasn't been picked yet.
Yeah.
And, we were talking, again, about four big quarterbacks. There's some quarterback needy teams, the Raiders, the Titans. We maybe thought Seattle would be a team that would want that. They've all passed on him. And that makes me wonder, really, okay, what would have happened if the Colts only had, the three quarterbacks went ahead of them? Would they have taken him? We'll never know that, but it's kind of interesting that he's fallen and Anthony Richardson was chosen. And again, this was what I was thinking the whole time. This was the third best quarterback in this draft. And so, I'm excited for what Anthony Richardson is going to be, and he's just got everything. And this is a great pick from the Colts, and I think the league is kind of backing that up in the sense because Will Levis hasn't been picked yet.
Yeah, and to tell you the truth, I had Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, then Anthony Richardson. And I'll admit, these guys haven't played yet, so maybe who knows what's going to happen. But the truth is, the league, like you said, is backing up the fact that Will Levis hasn't been taken. Now, if the Colts don't take Richardson, how far does he fall? I don't know. But the truth is, the Colts had their choice, and they went with a guy with a higher upside. And when you compare the two, is there that big of a difference between Will Levis and Anthony Richardson right now, skill level, play-wise? Not that much. So I see why they did it, and I think that's why it makes sense for the team. And he's gonna have Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, and he's gonna have Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce and Jelani Woods to throw to. This Colts team is not a bad team. I know we picked top 5, but this isn't your usual top 5 team. We're not the Texans. We're not surrounding our quarterback with no talent. There's some talent on this roster, so watch out. That's all I'm saying.
Are you ready to admit I was right and you were wrong?
I never admit that. I'll never admit that.
Come on. Hey, this is great. Hey, we'll talk about later rounds, but now it's time to start stacking up some players around them.
Yeah.
Whether that's offensive guard, whether that's wide receiver, cornerback. I mean, there's still a lot of this draft left, but I think Anthony Richardson jersey should be flying off the Colts rack this weekend, because this is our guy, and we're going to ride him for a long time here, because I think he's going to be a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for it. I think the fans are excited. Colts fans, whoever you are, if you're not a Colts fan, we appreciate you watching. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and until next time, thanks for watching the Common Colt Podcast.